Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, everyone. Welcome, everyone. You might get a little echo here because I'm sitting on this deck overlooking the Atlantic Ocean in Colombia, enjoying here. And today, my friends, is another edition of our exploration into the lovely human beings and companies that we collaborate with here at Human Garage. My name is Aaron Mathias, and I'm your host for these weekly deep dives on Wednesday into chats with our lovely partners and the individuals that we collaborate with. We thought it would just be an interesting experiment to dive deep and have conversations. Besides just saying, hey, take a look at this really cool product over here, we thought it would be an incredible idea to meet the people behind those products and ask them why the heck they decided to build and create this product in the first place. Why did they do it? Why did they want to build it? And what inspired them, and find out more about them. And today we are going to be talking to an incredible company called Mitolux. But before, which I saw, I just jump into the chat here, but before I bring our friend Guti on, who's the founder, biohacker extraordinaire, creator of the Mitolux, and an amazing human being altogether, before I bring him on, I want to do a little housekeeping before we dive fully into our exploration with him. Okay? Just if you haven't done so already, we have a few live events coming up. On the 15th of December, we still have a few tickets available for our London hands-on event. So if you are in Europe, if you're in London and haven't done so, go over to humangarage.net. There's still a few tickets for that hands-on event available. And for those of you who would love to come and hang out with Gary and myself, my wonderful self, and Gary, we're going to be doing two events in Chicago. One on the 21st and one on the 18th. There are limited tickets for both events. Go over to humangarage.net, grab those, get your Christmas on. Go over to humangarage.net and get your tickets for those live events. We also have a virtual event for those of you who want to bring in the new year for those of you who want to bring in the new year in a beautiful way. We are going to do a Zoom class on January 1st. All the details are at humangarage.net. So if you want to come and hang out with Gary and myself in Chicago on the 21st and the 18th, still some tickets available for that, and the 15th in London hands-on. There's going to be a hands-on event in Chicago as well. So if you want to come and do hands-on, get a little bit more crazy with the work, grab those tickets. And again, my name is Aaron Mathias. I'm your host for these deep dive conversations. If you want to connect with me personally, you can follow me at pulseoflife.co and Aaron Mathias The Purpose. I want to ask you all a question. When you hear the words sun, what do you think of? When you hear the word sun, I think of life, the life giver, the life bringer, inspiration, worship. I love the sun. But it's interesting, in our modern times, sunlight, getting the sun, has actually become somewhat of a controversial, which is a crazy topic, because in my mind, the sun creates everything and builds everything. But you have people on a wide spectrum, right? No pun intended, the spectrum, who some are like, hey, the sun is bad, stay away from the sun, run and hide, get away from the sun as much as you can, protect yourself, never see it, and sit in artificial light. And then you have others on the somewhere in the middle, maybe, like, I don't care really, or a little bit of sun is not bad. And then you have another group of people on the other side of the spectrum, great scientists like Dr. Jack Cruz, who believe the sun is such an essential ingredient from the stimulating the endocannabinoid system of the brain to your mitochondrial function, to basically everything, that it's so important. So today, I want to bring on an amazing gentleman named Guti, who's the founder, biohacker extraordinaire, and the creator of the Mitolux, a light that helps our friends who can't get out and get enough sunlight to be able to feed their system with it. And this will be an interesting conversation because I'm so excited to hear his thoughts, what he believes about light exposure in the sun, because again, it's interesting that this has become such a controversial topic. Get sun, don't get sun. So without further ado, I will bring up our friend. So yeah, why has the sun become so controversial? I love the sun. I hang out in the sun all the time. Have not worn sunscreen. Hello, hello.
Hi, Aaron. Happy to see you.
Happy to see you, man.
Look where I am.
Yeah, we're both on amazing beaches.
Yes, I always try to get my sun, and I heard that you are right now in the Pacific at Colombia. Am I right?
Are you on the Pacific? I'm on the Atlantic. I have
You're
the
in the
Atlantic.
Atlantic. I am on the Pacific in El Salvador.
You're on the Pacific.
Yeah, on the Pacific in El Salvador coast, enjoying the sunset almost.
Amazing. So we're both getting to experience opposite ends of the ocean.
Oh yes, there's nothing like the sun to get your mood up. Every time I'm feeling that I'm going to get a flu or feeling low energy or a little depressed, I get the sun and it always makes me feel better. So that's one of the best biohacks I have found. It's not taking a pill, but it's actually taking the sun.
Ah, exactly. Include me directly in that. The more sun, the better for me. By the way, can you hear me okay? Because I know there's a little
Yes,
bit
I
of
can.
echo. Because I'm sitting in a on the deck of this apartment complex in
Uh-huh.
Colombia.
Oh
So
no, but I can hear you. I can hear you great.
okay, amazing, perfect. So I don't know if you heard the preface that I gave to this, that the
Oh yes, totally. I
conversation
was from the beginning.
around light and sun is such an interesting topic. But before we
Yes.
dive into that topic and all the details about it and how it can stimulate mitochondria and endocannabinoid systems and all that,
Yeah.
I'm really curious to hear about you, even though I know I want everyone else to hear. Who the heck are you? Who the heck are you? Like, why did you come into this direction to put together this device, the Mitolux, and like, why? How did we get
Okay.
here?
Yes. Well, basically, if you had talked to me just 6 years ago, I was one of the same people that was afraid of taking too much sun. So I was putting on these very dark sunglasses just to try to stop the UV from getting in my eyes. Also, I was putting a lot of sunscreen, the really bad sunscreen, not the good one. And I was thinking I was doing good because I was just following what media and doctors were telling you about. And then I learned it through reading a lot how I was wrong. Basically, I had during the pandemic a bad experience that led me to have a depression, low vitamin D. I had a testosterone crash, so I even had to be on TRT. So after years passed, I was starting to feel better because obviously medications and doctors do help, but I didn't want to be medicated for the rest of my life. So I started reading a lot of biohacking books, and basically all of them pointed me that one of the best ways to get your testosterone up, your mood up, your vitamin D up was actually sunlight. So I started taking nude sunbaths at my garden in my house, and basically 4 months later, I was prescription free and feeling better than ever. So I basically started as someone that was avoiding the sun to someone that's worshiping the sun as ancient cultures did, and many people are starting to do. And then basically, we also have rainy days here in my country. It's not sunny all of the year around. So I tried to buy one lamp that would give me the benefits of the sun, considering UV and infrared. And I only found products that were giving the infrared, which is amazing, but it's incomplete. So I thought that that would be a great product to do. something that could mimic the sun and give you vitamin D, help you with testosterone, with serotonin. So I started the research, and then I decided to make my own lamp, and that was 15 months ago. And here I am with the Mitolux, which is already having many people that love it. And funny thing, my background, I am a photographer,
Yes.
and I studied economics. So I changed from using light to capture images to light to improve your health. So that's a little bit about my background story.
No, I love it, and that, I mean, it's kind of it's interesting because you were attracted to light in a completely different way to capture beautiful landscapes, people's faces, images like that. And it's
That's
kind of
right.
like you came full circle in a way to not only still have that skill set doing that, but now you use a device that can help people, especially when they don't have enough sun exposure, to
Yeah.
get that light back in their bodies and the face to simulate. So how long did it take? Like, what kind of process after you discovered, like, hey, my hormones are off, I'm not feeling very good, and you started kind of getting back into using these natural methods, getting sun exposure? Like, how long did it take for you to improve?
Okay, for mood, day number one. And I dare anyone watching this show, if you're feeling down and you don't believe me, go and get the sun in your eyes and go and get a tan. Obviously, don't overexpose yourself. We have to be responsible getting the right amount. And I dare anyone, if they don't feel happier and more energetic from day number one. So regarding the improvements of my mood and helping me, the depression that I used to have, I felt results day number one.
Wow.
Regarding
Oh, keep going. I just said wow.
testosterone, it was also around 2 to 3 months to see my numbers improve. Because when I got off TRT at the beginning, my levels went down because obviously I stopped taking the
Yeah.
synthetic testosterone. But then, not only taking the sun, I want to showcase that, but combining sun into good circadian rhythm habits, like having better sleep, because sleep is also the best for improving testosterone. So getting better night sleep, that's the dark cycle, and getting more sunlight during the day, that's the light circle. That helped me get my testosterone to around 635 number, and that was basically great because I'm 47 years old, and that was just natural.
Wow. No, that's a huge improvement.
No,
And
yes, because in my worst moment, I got to 280.
okay, I've been there. I've
Oh,
been there.
okay, yeah, and
I've been down there, and
you
you
feel
feel
so,
miserable.
yes, you feel miserable, you feel lethargic, you don't have energy, your mood is out. So I suggest to anybody take a testosterone test because now we're having a lot of problems and most people don't even know that they're doing better with testosterone. So I usually encourage. That's my friend, by the way,
Oh,
flying there.
that's fine. It's in a flyby.
Yes, that's a powered paraglider. That's one of my hobbies, actually, too. So I suggest anybody getting a vitamin D and a testosterone test at least because that would help you with a lot of information.
Okay. And so just so we can catch people up a little bit up to speed for those who just joined,
Yes.
can you give a brief synopsis of what you've actually created?
Okay. Yes, I don't need it today because what I recommend people is when you have the perfect sun, like you're in the Caribbean near the equator, I'm in El Salvador, just go out and enjoy the sun. But when you're not able to do that, this is an incredible option. This is the Mitolux sunlamp. And basically, the slogan in our company is get your daily dose of sunshine. So whenever possible, try to get as much sun in your eyes and your skin. But for example, for people that are right now in London, in Washington, in all the cold states, no matter how hard you try, you're just not getting to get any UV because basically UV in those parts of the world stops from around October till March. So basically, half of the year you cannot get enough UV, and that's one of the reasons why you have the cold season. If you for example took measurements, the cold season is the season why everybody is having less vitamin D because they're spending indoors because they're not having more sunlight. and then that's when the colds start getting high because you lose your immune function. So this is the lamp, and basically what you need to do is just around 5 minutes a day for most of the skin color, and you could actually get in the equivalent of 45 minutes at noon near the equator. So that's around 3,000 to 4,000 IUs of vitamin D.
And that's only with a few moments of using the device.
Just with 5 minutes, because it's around 13 times the sun near the equator at noon.
Wow.
Yes, it's very
And
powerful.
so,
That's why
go ahead.
yes, it's very powerful. That's why when you use it in the UVB mode, that's actually UVB plus 4 wavelengths of red and infrared. You need to use your sunglasses, but you can also use it as a regular red light therapy device. So basically, if you use it as a red light therapy device, it's like you getting the sun that I'm getting now. Right now, there's no UV. It's basically red and infrared. So that's amazing for your health, cell health, for your mitochondria. But when you use the UV plus red and infrared, it's like taking a sunbath at noon. So you're going to be getting the benefits of the UVB.
Okay. So that's what we're trying to understand is like what separates, say, the Mitolux from other like devices that are on the market or red light devices.
Yeah.
Like because there's a ton of different devices on the market. Like you can go and be like, hey, I want to
Oh,
see
yeah.
get like red light therapy. I want to do this. I want to get light exposure. What makes
Yes.
this device stand apart from others?
Okay. Well, first of all, I totally support and love red light therapy, and I suggest that even if people don't get my device, go get a red light therapy device, and it will do wonders. Or take more sunrise or sunset. So first of all, my lamp starts as a red light therapy device because it has 4 wavelengths of red and near infrared. So just by itself, it will help you to get improvements in your skin, in your eyes. It helps with joints. It helps with hair loss. It helps with inflammation. And we also, this is one of the things that we have different. We have also added the 590 nanometer amber color. Photo agent, and it also helps to improve nitric oxide. So that's one of the first differences. But what sets this apart is that we're the only one that has included a narrowband UVB around the 295 nanometer. And basically, it's the most efficient wavelength for increasing vitamin D. So with any red light therapy device, you will get benefits, but with UVB, you get improvements to serotonin, you get improvements to vitamin D, you get improvements to testosterone and also libido. So it's more similar than taking the sun.
The combination of those lights, and is it the smaller nanometer that are closer to the full spectrum of the sun?
Yes, for example, the red is bigger waves. So that's, for example, the red, and then in the near infrared, you stop seeing it, and then you get the visible. And then you go to the UV, and it's actually the UVB wavelength that we have included, that is more high energy wavelength, and they're also invisible to your eye.
Okay. And
Mm-hmm.
with the, once you see that, so this comes back now to, I guess, the question I kind of posed at the beginning of the whole conversation of when you hear the
Yes.
word sun, what do you think about? Like, for me, it's like it's the life giver. It brings life, and to
Yes, for
me
me now it's
personally,
life.
I
For me, it's
I
life.
I haven't used sunscreen since I was like 18 years old. I've not
Wow.
used sunscreen. I sit in the sun for probably a few hours each day when there is sun.
Yes.
And I'm in Colombia now, so I get sun
Oh,
every
yeah.
day.
You
But
get sun.
if you do it in a good way,
Yeah.
it's really great and helpful. But I guess since you've dived so deep into the exploration and building this device and creating it,
Yes.
I'd love to hear your thoughts because there's a whole spectrum of people who are like, and from doctors to, skin doctors who are like, hey, hide yourself from the sun, stay away from it.
No,
Don't,
that's
cover yourself, don't get any exposure.
yeah.
What would you speak to that? And what are your thoughts around that?
Well, actually, many of the beliefs that doctors have right now was based on research that was done during the 1960s and 1970s, where they used UV light on skin, but without the infrared component. So basically, they were not reproducing real life sun conditions, but doing in vitro tests, just showing how much damage the UV could do to the skin. And it's true, UV by itself, it's unnatural. So to all people that are using tanning beds, that's not good for your skin because in nature, always, but always, you have UV combined with red and near infrared and mid infrared. So the infrared is the one that basically keeps UV from causing the damage, and then you get the good part. And also, there's one study that's very interesting. In Sweden, they did a 10-year test, and basically, they were trying to see how dangerous the sun was. So they measured around 20,000 women. So it was a very big study. And at the end, they got a big surprise. They found that not taking the sun was as dangerous as smoking because they found out that women that smoked but took the sun had a lower mortality rate than women that didn't smoke but didn't take the sun. So imagine
Wow.
how we're losing this opportunity to improve our health. And basically, for example, many of the forms of cancer now are being shown that are not that related to sun exposure. For example, melanoma now has been proven that it's not related to sun, but actually, if you take sun and get your vitamin D higher, you can lower the incidence and you can also get a survival expectancy if you actually get. And you can find it easily because melanoma, you don't find it in sun exposed areas, but usually they're inside of the parts in your body that are not exposed to sunshine.
Wow. So what I gathered is if I smoke, if I get sun, I'll be okay. I'm
No,
just
don't smoke,
kidding.
but
I'm just kidding.
yeah, you'll be better if you smoke and take the sun than actually not smoking and not taking the sun.
Not
So,
taking the sun, right?
yeah, so
By the
for
way,
example,
everyone, Human Garage is not endorsing going and getting cigarettes. We're not coming out with our own cigarette brand. We're just making a little joke for those who don't. Yeah.
yeah, yes, I don't smoke either. So one of the things that are really started to change is that doctors and scientists are starting to learn that it's not natural to be trying to avoid the sun, and to make things more ridiculous. Most of the sunscreen chemicals that have been used during the last 30 years have now been proven to be hormone disruptors and to even cause cancer. So you're putting chemicals over your body in order to protect from the sun that are more dangerous than getting the sun. So in my case, I use sunscreen, but I try to use mineral sunscreen, not chemical one.
Do you personally feel like sunscreen is necessary at all?
Usually, what I tell people that the best sunscreen is shade. So what people should do is to know how much sun they can tolerate, get as much as you can. But then, when your skin has had enough, and everybody's different, it's better to go into the shade. But for example, if somebody's going to be playing sports or doing fishing or really have to spend a lot of time outdoors, first is to try to add shade. But for example, I'm not against mineral sunscreen. So I actually use them on the parts of my body that are not covered, but I only put them on when I already had enough sun to get my vitamin D. So first get the benefit when you have enough, then I put mineral sunscreen.
Okay. Also, if anyone out there, I saw someone just ask a question of like, hey, which one do you recommend? I personally don't use sunscreens at all. I use a
Uh-huh.
little bit of tallow, actually, like
Yes,
grass-fed
tallow
regenerated farm
helps.
tallow,
Tallow helps.
because it has a natural SPF itself, and it also gives your skin a bunch of good nutrients. But hey, by the way, everyone, I just want you to see behind me, the sun is setting.
Wow.
Look at
I'm
the
also,
sunset back there. Look at the
yeah,
colors.
in my case, since I'm not in the same time zone. Right now, I still have like 1 hour till
Yeah,
sunset.
that's pretty funny though. I'm getting the sunset because I'm on the Atlantic Ocean in Colombia. Guti is on the Pacific Ocean right
Yes,
now, so we're getting a little
in
bit
El
of sunset for
Salvador.
me. But the color is incredible back
By the
there. I'm
way,
like,
you mentioned Jack Cruz at the beginning that he's a big advocate on getting more sun exposure, and he lives here in El Salvador.
yes, yeah, he's actually there in El Salvador.
Yes,
You should go. You should go track him down and knock on his door and be like, "Yo, bro,
yes,
what
I'll
you
try
doing?"
to do that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting because when you start to dive into it, and especially like even if you go into Jack's work, anyone who
Uh-huh.
hasn't done so, he's a really interesting guy to go read about and see kind of a different idea about it. There's a lot of other researchers out there too talking
Yeah,
about all the benefits of it. But can you speak to the idea of the endocannabinoid system being stimulated by sun exposure and the mitochondria of the body?
yes.
And,
Basically, when
and,
you
and
get
using the Mitolux, because the Mitolux reproduces this as well,
yes,
correct?
basically the Mitolux uses two different types of wavelengths. The near infrared, which are the ones that basically give more energy to your mitochondria. So, in my opinion, right now, that people just in America, they're spending more than 92% of their time indoors in artificial lighting. That's totally near infrared depleted. So, I believe that the current one of the current epidemics is infrared deficiency, because if you don't get infrared to your skin, then you start having problems like metabolic syndrome. You start getting increases in the chances of getting diabetes. So you really need to get the infrared. And what's one of the benefits that you get when you actually take the sun at this time of the day? And by the way, infrared is 60% of the energy of the sun that we receive. So try getting light in the morning, light in the evening to get your infrared. And the lamp does this because we have 4 wavelengths of red and near infrared. But that's only part of the story. You only also need to get the UVB, and the UVB is the one you get when the sun is very high in the sky. So, for example, if you're in Europe or most of the United States in winter, you still can have infrared, but the sun never goes up. So, you actually never get the UVB, even if you do whatever you want. And if you're not getting the UVB, then you're going to start having problems with the vitamin D, with hormones, and also there are many. And that's one interesting thing that you mentioned. Try avoiding using sunglasses as much as you can, because they block UV, and you need UVA getting into your eyes to let your brain know that it's daylight. So you wake up. That's
Yeah,
basically for your circadian rhythm, the famous melanopsin. So you really need to get sun in your eyes and sun in your screen. And one small trick: some people get burned because they're wearing sunglasses. And when you wear sunglasses, you're not giving the information of your brain to start producing melanin. So if you want to have less sunburns, don't wear sunglasses because they'll block the
yeah,
UVA, and then your body is not going to start producing melanin, and as if you were in nature. So more sun in the skin and more sun in the eyes, and that's one of the things that our lamp can do. Just not the UVA. This lamp doesn't have UVA because we also wanted to make a product that would be liked by many people that don't want to get premature aging. So we only got in the UVB. I'm not talking against UVA, but UVA is the one that ages your skin. So that's why we decided to take it off this version so more people could use it.
oh, that's amazing. I love what you said about not wearing sunglasses.
Yeah,
I never wear them.
yeah.
Never. People are
Yes, I
like,
think I'm going.
put on some sunglasses, and I'm like, nah. I'm just gonna
Yeah.
like take the light. I'm gonna take the light as much as I can.
Yes, that's why I think I'm going to try to do the surgery in my eye with laser to not keep using sunglasses. But by the way, there are some amazing brands of sunglasses like the Beaver Rays. I use them,
Oh,
they
Viva
don't
Rays,
block.
yes.
Yes, so I'm not wearing them today, but I have Beaver Rays, and they're amazing because they let the UVA through. I tested it, and it's true. And also, you can wear with the orange, with the red during the night, so you're not getting too much blue light, because that's a problem today. People are staying inside of their homes in the morning or during the day just with LEDs that don't have infrared. And then at night, we're with the computer, with the TV screen, and we're getting the blue light when we don't need it. So we're just doing things backwards.
Yeah, yeah. It's interesting. I mean, it would be kind of, and I wonder if anyone's come up with a conclusive answer to this question. And I don't know if they have, but where, at what point in time in history did the ideas start to permeate into our culture to hide from the sun, not get sun exposure, but also just how we started to, is it the technological shift, do you think, in the world that also pushed people to now get addicted to being indoors and not getting out and seeing the sun? Or what do
I
you think
bet,
it's a combination of? Because I,
I
I feel like it's a whole bunch of influences, but I'm curious to hear what you think.
Yes, I believe totally that it was started by sunscreen companies that wanted to make more money during the 1940s, which is when the craze for the sunscreen started. And at the beginning, at least they were using mineral ingredients, so they were good. But then they started using a lot of chemicals that actually did more harm than good. So I believe that this all started with sunscreen companies and then dermatologists, because it's true, sun can age the skin, but it ages your skin when you do it in the wrong manner. For example, the problem is that many people just go out at noon. So they go out with having prepared their skin. So the right way to take the sun is to go out in the morning and basically get 1 hour of natural morning sunlight, and that will go outside at the end of the day and get more infrared. So if you get more infrared, basically your body can tolerate many times more UV than when you don't get it.
So
So
if you
that's the
get, if you're getting more, if I understand that correctly, if you're getting
yes,
more exposure, you actually can tolerate more exposure.
yes. If you get more infrared, for example, in the morning or at the evening, you're going to have better tolerance to get the UV from the midday. So, for example, one recommendation would be to take 1 hour in the morning or at least half an hour in the morning and in the evening, and then get your 15 minutes at noon. You don't need that much time at
Yeah.
noon to get the sun.
So, and that's where the Mitolux would come in handy because obviously I'm about to go to Chicago.
Yes,
We've got some events coming up in Chicago. Gary and I are doing, and we're going to be basically in the dark
yeah,
super early, and in the dark super early when we wake up. We're
yes,
not going to have that kind of sun exposure, the chance to do it. So having
that's
a
right.
Mitolux
Yes.
can take care of that need, especially if you're in those winter environments. Because like here in Colombia, it's sunny in the morning, sunny at night. You guys saw the sunset behind me.
Ah, yes, here the sun's starting to come. And yes,
Yep.
it's true. But one interesting thing, if you look at vitamin D deficiency numbers, even in countries like Dubai, it's even worse than in the United States. In the United States, it's around 45% deficiency rate, but in Dubai, it's 83% deficiency. And they have all of the sun in the world. But the problem is that when they get the sun, it's too hot. And when it's finally cool, then they're not getting enough UV because they're in winter. And even in my country, the deficiency rate of vitamin D, and we have all the sun in the world, it's around 40%. So the problem is not only when you live at a place that has little sunlight, but it's actual habits, because most people are spending most of their time indoors. When they go out, they just put all the sunscreen they can, and then they're wondering like, huh, I live in El Salvador, why is my vitamin D doing so bad? So it's not only depending on where you live, it's on your habits, because you can live here and still be vitamin D deficient. But now imagine living in New York or London or Ireland or Chicago.
Yeah.
Then even if you go out and try to get the sun as much as you could, but you're not going to get it anyway because there's no UVB on the sky.
That's something so interesting what you just said because I didn't think of that. That even people who live in a country that has like sun all the time, like I'm in
Yeah,
Colombia and been here for a while, and you're typically in Mexico or El Salvador?
I'm typically in El Salvador, and here
Okay,
deficiency rates are around 40% in El
and they're at forty
Salvador.
percent,
Imagine,
and
yes,
it's sunny most of the time,
it's
because
sunny most of the time.
and that's because of people's lifestyle habits of staying indoors and
Yes,
either
for
covering up
example,
with
here,
glasses or sunscreen.
yes, here it can become really hot too. Not like Dubai, but when it's hot, people try to avoid the sun. And also, most people work a regular 9 to 5 schedule, and they're spending all of the times of the day that have the UVB, they're staying inside. So basically, getting low UVB, it's a problem, a worldwide problem.
It's crazy. It's crazy
Yeah,
actually to think about that.
there's one people that's asking which area have lower vitamin D rates, and basically the closer you get to the equator, the lower deficiency rates of vitamin D you have, and also the lower cancer rates, because that's very interesting. People now get away of the sun because of fear of cancer, and people now are taking less sun than ever, and cancer rates have been multiplying by 18 from the
Yeah,
1950s. So if the sun was the cause, then cancer should be going down,
yeah,
not going up.
yeah.
And the
That's
closer you get, the closer you
no,
get to the equator, the lower cancer rates that you have, and also the less depression rate that you have.
wow.
Yes.
It's wild.
No,
So someone
it's
asked him.
wild.
I saw someone ask in the chat
Yes.
that that's they asked like, what do you know what areas have the most deficiencies in vitamin D? Do you
Okay. Well,
offhand know?
yes, for example, there are some countries that are not doing so bad. For example, Japan is a little bit up north, and it only has around a 29 deficiency. And in the case of Japan, it's not because they're having more sun, but because of their diet. So in the case of Japan, they're eating a lot of salmon, for example, or tuna. That's helping them take the vitamin D up. And there's another country that has taken great measures to have their population take more vitamin D, and also they have a great culture of enjoying the sun in summer, and that's Sweden. Sweden has the lowest deficiency rate in Europe, and Sweden has less sunlight than Spain and Italy. So it's a lot of habits. So Sweden does many things different. So
Yeah.
in Sweden, I was in Sweden in July this year, by the way, and I was just amazed that everybody was there trying to get every ray of sun as possible, tanning, doing outside activities, sports. So that would be one of the countries with the lowest deficiency rate, even if they're not getting as much sun, because they have a culture of getting the sun.
Of actually getting out and getting the sun, especially at
And
good
also,
times.
yes, and also taking more vitamin D during the winter.
Interesting.
Yeah, but most countries are
So,
doing really, really bad.
how's your sunset going?
My what?
Your sunset, how's it going? Is it starting to sink? The sunset.
Ah, yes, yes, yes. You can see it right now.
Oh yes,
So
yes.
right now, I think we're still like 20 minutes
Okay.
from sunset. Then we're going to start having the nice colors.
Yeah, everybody's getting a double treat. We got to watch the sunset here in the Atlantic, and we're gonna get to watch it set in the Pacific, all in
Yeah.
one call. All in one call.
No, yes, and actually, when I discovered the power of sun, I actually tried to take in my home 3 nude sunbaths in my backyard, and I usually do half an hour from one side and then half an hour on the other side. I just cover my face sometime because I don't want to get extra sun in my face, but that's the way I do it. And also, I try using the Mitolux the other day, and also use it both in the infrared for anti-aging and in the UV mode. And when I travel, I always take it with me.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's what's cool about it. So maybe we can explain a little bit to everybody too, because we've been
Yes,
talking about some of the background of science about deficiencies, and even people who are around a lot of sun can still have deficiencies with vitamin D production because of their
yes.
habits of not going outside. But what would you recommend to people as far as device wise. And I personally, I love the device because it's
Hmm.
small enough I can throw it and take it with me.
Yes, I'm going to show it. And this is how small it can get. Here you have it like this. So it can become very slim. It's only 2.5 pounds, even though it's really, really powerful. And we also have a travel case. So if you want to take it with you, you can take it in travels. And also it uses very little space if you want to have it at home. So it's great.
And
And there's
you
somebody writing from Italy. Yes, Italy is also having some very big deficiencies in vitamin D.
yeah. Do you have a bigger units than that, or is that the full size? You kept it that size, correct?
Actually, you don't need a bigger size because vitamin D production is systemic. So, for example, if you just get light into your chest area, into your torso, that would be around a 25% body exposure. But this light is so powerful that taking that 25% and getting as much UVB as here, you can get around 3,000 to 4,000 IUs in just one session, and the daily recommended allowance is 800, which I believe is ridiculously low. So the good number would start around 4,000. And if you want to get higher numbers, you can use it, for example, once in your chest and once in your back. So my first recommendation to anybody, even before buying a product, well, we actually sell the vitamin D test in our store too, is
Oh,
to
you have a
get
vitamin D
tested.
test, yeah.
Yes, we sell them on our store because you cannot know how your vitamin D is doing until you test it. So one way to get better customer satisfaction is when people can actually buy one at home test, they ship it to the company that's Omega Quant, and then you can test again in 2 months. And when you see how your levels have increased, then you're going to be more happy. But you have to test for that to see how good or how bad you're doing.
And the test, how often would you test? Would you take a test, do a Mitolux session, and then do another test?
No, to get the levels raised, you need some time in the sun. So it's not something you can raise from one day to the other. So on average, our users have experienced an increase in around 10 nanograms per milliliter per month. So for example, most people are doing very bad, around 15 nanograms per milliliter. So in your case, you can do one test now and then test in 3 months. And most people would change from deficient to having the right levels in around 10 days.
Okay, wow.
In around 3 months, sorry, in around 3 months.
In around 3 months. Okay, so
Yes, in
three
around three
months.
months. Yeah,
And then it's going to get a little cheesy right now, but
yeah,
if you could you list all the benefits of using the Mitolux?
yeah,
We'll be a little cheesy and do like almost like hey, we're on the shopping network, but knock off all the benefits because I would love everyone to just know exactly, especially if you don't, say your lifestyle is busy.
yeah,
You have to wake up. You gotta, hopefully you can make time for a nice little routine of doing some breathing, some fascial maneuvers, some
yeah,
movements. But sometimes you got to wake up and get to your day, and you don't get a chance to get outside.
yeah,
But maybe you only got five
yeah.
minutes. What are all the benefits of having a device like this that can help with a lovely human being?
Okay, I will make it real simple. After you have your day's shower, before you put your clothes up, I would recommend that you use the Mitolux for 5 minutes. It will depend on your skin tone. If you're a redhead, maybe just 3 minutes will be enough. If you're dark skin, maybe you would need 8 or more minutes. But for most Americans like yourself, 5 minutes would be enough. So just use it for 5 minutes on your chest, and you'll be getting the UVB. What benefit does UVB cause? It will help increase your vitamin D. It will help increase your testosterone and libido. It will get you more serotonin so you have better mood. And it will improve your microbiome. So that's amazing because when people say like, no, I don't take the sun because I'm taking oral vitamin D has just part of the benefit of getting UVB. And one other interesting fact about taking oral vitamin D, we had a lot of users that have bought our machine because even taking oral vitamin D, they couldn't get their levels up because just in the United States, around 30% of Americans have problem absorbing nutrients because of gut issues. So many people, doesn't matter how much synthetic vitamin D you get, you will not raise them. And if you, even if you raise, there are many studies that prove that taking oral vitamin D will not give the same benefits as taking the sun. So taking the sun is always the king. And when you cannot get the sun, then the Mitolux will be basically giving similar benefits.
Mm.
And then my last recommendation, usually what I recommend people doing with the Mitolux at the end of the day, you just have a 10-minute session on your face, on your neck, and on your hands, and that will do wonders for your skin, for getting the wrinkles diminished, getting better texture, for taking backwards photo aging. So that would be my recommendation to get the benefits from the Mitolux. Use
Okay.
it 5 minutes in the UVB mode in the morning to get all of the hormonal benefits, and then use it at night to get all of the skin benefits, and also for the hair.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes,
Hair is important.
hair is important.
And don't forget, everyone, to add a little magnesium to help with the absorption of any vitamin D in your
Yes,
body and
usually, yeah, if you have low magnesium, your body is going to have a very hard time basically producing vitamin D. And if you have too little levels of vitamin K2, then you're going to have problem putting the calcium in your bones. So vitamin D triggers the absorption of calcium, but it's actually vitamin K2, the one that puts the calcium into your bones.
Mm. I love the fact that you can, in 5 minutes, get all those benefits. And so really, honestly, you know, I have to admit, I had a little bit of a, not blocked, but a little bit of a preconceived notion of like, hey, I live in a super sunny I live in a super sunny environment.
Yes.
I don't need to worry about having a device like this. But actually, you changed my mind, because what you said earlier makes so much sense, that even though I can be in a super sunny environment,
Yes.
I might, because of my own habits, not be getting proper exposure or going out at the right times,
Yes.
or of my own habits, I still might not be getting adequate
Yes.
sun. So even in a sunny area, and if I'm super busy, a device like this is still super beneficial, even if I live in a tropical climate where I get tons of sun.
Yes, definitely. Even if you live in places like El Salvador, for example, my father living in El Salvador was having a vitamin D deficiency, and believe it or not, he was having seasonal affective disorder living in a sunny country because he was
What?
spending most, yes, because he was spending most of his time indoors in very poor artificial lighting and very dim. And when he finally got out, he was wearing these totally dark and black sunglasses that was not letting any air, light inside. So it doesn't matter where you live, even if you have all of the sun. If you have bad habits, you're going to be doing very bad in your circadian rhythm and in your vitamin D.
Wow.
And and that's living in a place like this. Now imagine living in most of Europe. Even if you try your best, you're not going to do enough because half of the year you don't have enough UVB.
Wow. That's wild. He's like,
No, no, it's amazing and it's very interesting because when I started designing the device, I didn't know that it was going to have that many benefits. At the beginning, I just thought like, wow, just getting more testosterone and getting more vitamin D, it's incredible enough because half of the world is doing bad. But when you start digging deep into how the body works towards sunshine and all the benefits, sun should be just prescribed as any medicine. And there are even stories. For example, one interesting fact, because I love reading facts, during World War One, since there were many people that were having wounds and were injured, that some hospitals didn't have enough space, so they started putting the beds outside. And and guess what happened? People that were outside were
yes.
recovering faster than the people that were inside. So then they started taking more people outside because if you get sun, you're going to be recovering faster, basically from any disease.
Yeah. And that's a wild thing, actually, because every time I've ever walked into a doctor's office or a hospital in general, I'm always like, why don't they have, why does it, I mean, there there's hospitals out there that I do know that have spaces and tons of windows, but the majority that I've ever entered are so dark,
Yeah.
filled with
Yeah.
fluorescent lights, and it's like, why don't they have huge windows with tons of streaming sun, big skylights in every area,
Hmm.
and at least beautiful colors and plant life inside them?
Yeah.
Instead, you have these cold, sterile, fluorescent
Yeah.
lit environments, and it's like, how on earth would anyone expect someone to be like, "Hey, I'm gonna heal, yeah, I'm gonna get
Yeah.
better fast."
And that's one of the reasons why people have a harder time getting cured in modern hospitals, because it's lack of natural air, it's a lack of natural sunshine, and there are many studies that are proving every year that even for the case of COVID, for example, when you get people, one of the best predictors to know if someone was going to get a complication or was going to recover was actually vitamin D levels.
Wow.
Vitamin D levels. Just by knowing
Yeah.
that, you know that if you were at high risk or low risk. So we never know what's coming ahead. So the best thing that we could do is try to not just get our vitamin D artificially up, but doing it the natural way through sun
Yeah.
in our skin.
And or head over to Mitolux at Mitolux.com and get.
Oh yeah, and you can have our land, because the problem is if you work 9 to 5, it doesn't matter if you live in Ecuador, Colombia, El Salvador, you're not going to get enough. So with just 5 minutes a day, it won't take you any time. Just use it after you're having your shower. We encourage to make people believe in our product. Take the test, take it again in 3 months, and then you will be a definitely believer, because all of this is based in science. I didn't choose the 295 nanometer wavelength just because it sounded cool, but because it was the wavelength that was shown in most studies to be the one that produces the higher vitamin D per exposure to radiation. So it's more efficient than the sun. And since it's more efficient, you need to get less UV to have higher results.
Children can use the lamp, correct?
There's restrictions in the US.
Oh,
So ask
oh,
your
there is.
daughter.
Okay.
Yeah. So usually these products need to be marketed from 18 years older. But for example, in my country, one of the biggest traditions that women have is to take their children in the morning to get just newborns, to get them to have their sunbath in the morning. And that's great for health. So the unit must be marketed for 18 years and older, but the general advice is to use our lamp like you would in the sun. So if you believe that it's healthy for anyone 12 years old, then of course you can use it. But that's just politics.
Yeah, yeah. Well, hey, anything we're saying is not medical advice. We're just
Yes.
we're just having a
Always.
conversation.
Yes.
We're just having a good conversation. Like if I say, hey, some of the best things you can do is wake up and see a beautiful sunset, drink some good mineralized,
Yes.
purified water, do some
Yes.
movement, make sure you breathe a little bit. If you don't have some good sun exposure, grab some Mitolux. Again, these are all just some
Yes.
ideas we're sharing, not medical advice.
Yes, but I believe that everything's going to change. And the same way that people are now opening their minds to all this new research
Yeah.
that's basically proven what humans have known for thousands of years is that the
Yes.
sun is the best you need for your health. Then we try to make things in a different way. It might have been for economical reasons, you never know, but now people are opening their eyes. And when they start using the sun, they basically know that your grandma was right when you told that go out and don't stay inside, get more sun.
Yeah. Get outside, play. I mean, my
Yeah,
parents were always, and they probably didn't know all the science behind it,
yeah, they
but my parents
just
were,
knew by
were like,
experience.
get outside, get air, get sun, get air, get sun, get air, get sun. That's all
Yeah,
they ever said to us, drilled into our heads. And if we
and
sat
we need to
inside,
do
they were
it
like,
more.
what's your problem? You're gonna sit inside, you're gonna be sick. And we were
Yeah,
so it's like my parents told us all the time, be outside. Be
and yes,
outside.
and you know one interesting thing. For example, the
Play in the
older you
dirt.
can just yes,
Play in the
yeah, play
dirt
in
and
the
get
dirt.
sun.
Yeah, that will get your microbiome going. And one
Exactly.
interesting thing, someone there was asking about the two modes. Yes, so the device is designed to be very simple. So we have the healing mode that's infrared, that's the one that's going to help with your mitochondria, with inflammation, with skin, with hair, just like regular red light therapy devices. So one of the benefits is this is already one red light therapy device, so you don't have to buy another one. And then you will have the program mode, which also adds to the mixture the UVB. So you actually get 5 total wavelengths, one amber, one red, 2 infrared, and the UVB. And that would be the one for getting more of the benefits because UVB. Well, actually, I'm writing a book that's basically calling vitamin UVB. It's not a vitamin, but when you see all of the benefits, including vitamin D, then UVB should be one of the things that we should be considering and taking more on a daily basis.
Yeah. Okay. Guti, do you
Yeah,
mind if I take a few? We take a few questions. Just
yeah,
really,
sure. Make the
really
question.
quick, and then I have a few questions for you, and then we'll kind of wrap things up
And
for the
yes,
evening
just I want to
because
share
the
just
sun is
how
going
I
to go
feel.
down, and you're going to be in the darkness,
Yes,
just
here in
like
the
I am.
field.
It's dark.
Yeah, and here, by the way, I mean, a beach in El Salvador that it's great for surfing. So here there are many. I'm going to turn around so you can have an idea.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this is,
It's so beautiful. I'm like addicted to beaches now. Like here in Colombia, I'm in Cartagena right now,
yeah,
and I'm right on the beach.
yes,
Like I
and
walk
doing
down.
grounding at the same time. So you
Yep.
have one of the two best natural medicines at the same time. You have
Grounding,
sun, you have grounding, yeah, you
sunlight,
have,
and water.
yeah, salt water, which even makes the grounding better.
Yeah. So anybody who I saw some people before putting some questions in the chat. If you want to re-drop your questions really quick, we'll answer a few of them. And if you just joined, you're going to have to go back and watch this live from the beginning because we're with Guti, the creator of the Mitolux, which helps produce almost the entire spectrum of the sun's natural light. So when you can't get enough of that exposure yourself, you can feed your system and your life with it. Because to me personally, this is my own opinion, sunlight is essential. And anyone who wants to block out the sun to me is crazy.
No,
Sunlight
yes.
is the most essential thing for life. It's the life bringer, the life giver of the world. But if anybody has any questions, oh, so somebody asked, Resilience Rise asked, so which mode do you use and when and for how long? Because there's like two different modes.
Okay. Yes, usually with the program mode, if you want to use it for general benefits, it depends on your skin tone. So, for example, depending on your skin tone, in your case, you're a Fitzpatrick type 2 since you're blonde, but since you're tanned, it would be like number 3. So you would use the P3 mode, and that would be just 5 minutes. If, for example, you got somebody that is really pale and it's a redhead, you will only need the P1, and that would be 3 minutes. So the the box comes with some instructions, and it teaches you how much time you need to use it. But for most Americans, it would be between 4 and 7 minutes, and that would be like taking the sun for from around 30 to 1 hour. So it's
Wow.
amazing. And regarding the infrared, the healing mode, I recommend you use it for 10 minutes for skin and general hair and metabolic.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And anybody else, if you have like tons of questions, obviously just hop over to Mitalux's website and there's Q&A over there, right? There's a pretty deep dive into the technology, how it works, why it works, and obviously you can drop questions to Guti. Where can they follow you at? Do you have just your Mitalux account, or do you also have a personal where they can follow you?
Usually, right now, all of the things related to light therapy, I have them in my Mitolux account. But if they want to follow me in my personal account and write me, it's Guti personal. I have no problem because I'm always trying to help. So if you write to me or call me or want to do a Zoom call, I would be totally happy to do it, just to explain you better on how you can improve your life through light.
Amazing. And by the way, you also do incredible photography.
Yes, thank you. And that's a funny thing because I studied economics. But then I just love photography, so decided to be a photographer, and I did many years commercial photography. But at the end, I did one online school of photography, which became number one in Latin America with over 79,000 students. So I love photography, and maybe that's one of the reasons that light therapy has made me so passionate about, because I have already loved photography, light, and now it's basically just understanding the nature of light, but for health reasons. And at the beginning, I was a non-believer, and I'm going to tell you how I became a believer in infrared light. 1.5 years ago, or almost 2 years ago, Winnie, my Shih Tzu dog, was having very hard time walking because of arthritis, and I gave them medicines and so on. But suddenly it was too much for her to handle. But since I was reading about red light therapy, biohacking, and everything, I got a crate, bought on Amazon. I got a red light therapy lamp, and I put it there. To my surprise, she loved it. So I didn't have to put her by force and put the zippers on, but she spent hours inside just enjoying the red light therapy. The same way that if you see dogs are always craving sunlight. When they see a spot of sunlight, they go under it. So she started loving it. And 1 week she was walking better, and 2 weeks she was running. So
Wow.
I got like, wow,
Yeah.
red light therapy is just 10 times more than just anti-aging for your skin. It can really make miracles for your joints. And that's what got me more interested into the science of light therapy. So at the beginning, I was a non-believer.
That's it. That's incredible. Oh, by the way, Resilience Rise, if you want to have him Guti on your podcast, just shoot him a DM.
Yes, yes. And my personal account is Guti, Guti personal. So it's very simple.
Yeah, very simple. Just shoot him a DM. Invite him on your
Yeah,
podcast.
yeah, I'll be happy to share all what I have learned about light therapies in the last 2 years. And the funny thing is that I always keep learning new and more benefits of taking the sun and vitamin D. For example, one thing that I didn't understand is the pathway at which sunlight helps with people that have autoimmune diseases, which in the United States is around 4 to 5% of people have autoimmune disease, and it's very simple. You get an autoimmune response when the thing that is in your gut ends up where it shouldn't be. That means in your bloodstream, and that happens when you have gut permeability. And you know what stops gut permeability? Vitamin D. So you get more sun, you get more microbiome, you get vitamin D that helps heal your gut. And then all of the things that are in your gut don't get into your bloodstream, and then you don't get all the autoimmune responses.
Yeah.
So
It's
simple
incredible.
medicine.
Simple
Yeah,
medicine. It's
yeah,
not medical advice, people, but get sun or get Mitolux or get Mitolux now
yeah.
or get sun.
Yes,
Um,
or get both. Get sun when you can, and use the Mitolux when you're working, have bad weather, or
yeah. Having a nice cup of organic, fresh grounds coffee while you're sitting on your Mitolux is a good combination, by the way.
Yes, and you know what's interesting? Yesterday, I read one scientific study that says that people that drink regularly natural coffee live up to 2 more years.
Yes. So I'm going to live to 139 years old. Or
Yes, and
169. Yeah.
also another thing that I tell people, the best biohack is attitude. If you're optimistic, if you're happy with you and with your life, that is better than any supplement. So always
Yes.
try to do the things that you love. That's the best biohack of all.
100%. 100%. Your attitude, how
Yeah,
you respond to life is
yeah.
probably the biggest thing. One of my companies have a skincare brand, right? And part of the slogan is it's not about just what you put like here on your face, right? Or what you
Mm-hmm.
put inside your body. It's also how you show up in life.
Yeah,
And that's the biggest, most important thing, how your attitude.
yeah. One example, I read a story about a guy that was diagnosed with cancer and he had a Italian origin. So the doctor told him like, you have 6 more months. So he said, I don't want to die in the hospital. I'm going to go back to the places I was in my childhood. Oh, so he sold everything. He went back home and he spent time with his friends, gardening, in light, happy, drinking beer, drinking wine, eating pasta. And then he was like, hey, 6 months and I'm not dead. Then 1 year later, he got back to the United States and he didn't have any cancer. And I believe it was sunshine, it was friendship, it was happiness, it was attitude. So if you're getting sick in your current environment, you need to change your environment or you're not going to get healthy because it was your environment, the one that got you sick in the beginning.
Yeah, yeah. For most people, they don't think of that. They're like, well, what either a pill or what quick thing can I take? But they
Yeah,
don't look sometimes at the other aspects of their lifestyle from like, hey, who's around me? What
yeah.
things are constantly stimulating me? Which again, and then how you respond or how you take those things can have a way bigger effect than almost anything else today.
Yeah. For example, in my case, just as an example, one of my dreams was flying powered paragliders, like you saw earlier,
Yeah.
over
Yeah.
the pyramids in October. And I did it in October. And I looked younger when I got back. Even thought I had slept very little. I had taken extra sunlight, but I was so happy with what I was doing that I could really look at the difference in my picture just after that trip. So if you have
Mhm.
any dreams, go and live your dreams. That's the best biohack to make you live longer. Because when you have a reason to live, then you'll make the extra years to live that life that you want.
Yeah. I mean, what you said, I think, is such a huge reminder to everybody. Is like you have an infinite source of power inside of you.
Yes.
And when you tap in and let that power come out, when you're
Yeah.
actually doing things that connects you back into the world, touching nature, it releases that power. And sometimes it's like, I don't even need to eat. I mean, I love food, by the way, but sometimes it's like the energy of the gliding or connecting or getting to see those pyramids. You don't even feel like you need food. You don't need anything. You can just run
No.
with no sleep, and you're like,
Yeah. Yeah. When you're happy, basically, you need less sleep, you need less food. Yeah, it's happiness power in you.
yeah,
So even though I'm promoting the power of sunlight
yes,
and my Mitolux sun lamp when you cannot get enough sun, the biggest power is doing what you love and being happy with your life. So that's the best biohack ever.
I love it. So, some final words. I
Yes.
want you to give us one what one of your favorite songs is. I always like to give people some new music to listen to, and then
Uh-huh.
if you can drop down what you have coming up with Mitolux, what's going on, where can people grab a hold of it, and I know that we're doing a little special discount code as well for the
Yes,
holidays.
we
So
have
if you want to drop that, but first, what is a good song that we should all go check out?
you know what's a really good song that really gets me like trying to live and just like following my dreams. I don't know if it's because of the lyrics or just the vibe, but it's this song from Tears for Fears that everybody wants to rule the world. So that's one of my favorite songs.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I love that song actually.
Yeah, so that's one of my favorite songs that gets me always in the mood to live my dream. Everybody
Tears for
wants to
Fears.
live. Yeah,
Everybody
Tears for
wants
Fears. So I
to
love
rule the
80s
world.
music. Yes, everybody wants to rule the world. So that would be one of my favorite songs. And what was the other question?
Yeah, if you could just give everyone where they can find Metalux,
Yes,
what's going on, like what do you have coming down? Anything coming down the pipeline? Like as far as goals for the coming new year?
yes. For the following month, we don't have any new product because we have less than a year since we launched the Mitolux. So we're very happy with the results so far. But we have bigger, more expensive units coming in the following year because people are asking to have bigger panels. So we're also going to do that. And I don't know, we have many surprises depending on what people would like to have. But you don't need bigger units. With this unit, you can have lots of benefits. And also, if you want to follow us, you can follow us at Mitolux USA in Instagram. If you want to see more information, you could basically go to mitolux.com. Also, Human Garage has a special discount code with 20% discount that's going to start working from now until Christmas. So go on and use it. And if you want to contact me, you can write to me at Gerardo, Gerardo, at Mitolux.com, and I will be very happy to help. Or you can just write us through social media or our webpage. It's all the same.
And Monica, could you drop in the chat the Human Garage link that they can use for that special holiday discount? And before you go, I wanna do something with you to sync out.
Yeah.
Because usually we sync into our groups, but I actually want to sync out. So I want to do something with you before we cut off. I just have to drop a few housekeeping items before we sign off. So do you mind hanging with me for just like 1 minute longer, 2 minutes longer?
Yeah, I'm here.
Sweet deal. So I just want to remind everybody, if you want to hang out with Human Garage in person, we do have a few tickets available for our London hands-on event that is on the 15th of December. So if you're in Europe or London near there, you can still get some tickets for that. Go to humangarage.net. Also, if you want to come out, hang out in Chicago with Gary and I, we're going to be there on the 18th and the 21st. 21st doing a hands-on event. It's where we deep dive into everything. You can grab some tickets for that. There's limited tickets to the Chicago event because of the space. So if you're in Chicago and you want to get crazy before Christmas time or whatever holiday you celebrate, go over there and grab your tickets. And don't forget to grab your Mitolux. And if you want to hang out with me personally or have questions for me, my name is Aaron Mathias. You can give me a personal follow at pulseoflife.co or Aaron Mathias, The Purpose. And this is a tradition we do at Human Garage. We love to sync our energy before we start a project and sometimes as we leave the projects, even when we sit down to eat together, because community is very important to us. Oh, by the way, if anybody is in Colombia or hanging out where
El
Guti's
Salvador.
hanging out,
Yes.
and shoot us a message. Come hang out with us.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're open to that. If you're in Colombia, hit me up. Come hang out.
Yes. By the way, I might be going to Colombia next month. So, at what part of Colombia are you? At Cartagena?
I'm in Cartagena right now. Yeah, I'll be here till the
Okay.
17th, and then I'll be back here in January.
Okay.
Because I have to go to Chicago, and then I have to go to LA and do some work. But then I'll be back in Cartagena in January and February. So, but for everybody, this sync up is very simple, and you can do it with me. I'm also going to do this with a device called the Love Tuner, which tunes everybody into 528 hertz, the frequency of love. The frequency of love. So we're going to wrap up our session today, and I want to thank Mitolux and Guti for the incredible knowledge drop. Actually, he opened my head up to something I didn't even think about, that even though I was in an area with tons of sun, I might not even get any exposure, and just all the benefits of the Mitolux itself, that even when you have lots of sun, you can still be missing out on some of the good benefits of it. Mm-hmm. So again, go to mitolux.com. The Human Garage code is in the chat, and that is going to work from now, this moment now, up until Christmas time, December 25th, correct?
Yes, correct.
And then it cuts
and
off.
One last thing. I love Human Garage community so much that I will make something, a special gift I'm going to be sharing with you so you can share to Human Garage, since I'm launching this month my new book on vitamin D. It's going to be $29, but for everybody that's in Human Garage, they'll have it totally for free.
Oh, dude, thank you.
Yes,
that's
because
amazing.
there were some people there that were writing, I would like to learn more, I would like to learn more. So with this ebook, you can have all that knowledge, and it's just a Christmas gift, because the more you give in life, the more you receive.
I love it. I love it. So true. So everybody, you got all the info. You got about the hands-on events. Also, check out the Human Garage community if you can. If you want to create community, we have an amazing internal community you can find on our website as well, where you can get really involved with people all over the world and connected amazing individuals like Guti as well. Because again, we're creating a worldwide community of like-minded people who want to tap back into their wonderful power, the wonderful purpose that is inside of everybody, and release that power into the world in love. So, to sync out with everybody, what you're going to do is put one hand on your shoulder, your right hand on your shoulder, on your left shoulder. Your left hand is going to grab by your rib cage, and you're going to twist your body to the left. So your right shoulder is going to go to the left, and you're going to turn your head to the right. So everybody, if you're not driving, if you're sitting down or standing, you can do this, but don't do it while you're driving. And we're going to take 6 breaths. We're going to do 6 breaths, and then we're going to close out the session by saying a final thank you and goodbye for now. And if you just tuned into this replay, go back and watch it. It'll be posted a little bit later. Go back and watch. And as we're doing the 6 breaths, I'm going to blow the love tuner, which is going to sound at the frequency of love. So again, you're going to put your right hand on your left shoulder, your left hand under your rib cage. You're going to twist your body, your right shoulder going left, twist your head facing to the right. And here we go. Perfect. Breath. And everybody come back.
It's
Nice,
that making these
peaceful.
breaths always gets me sweating. It's amazing how your energy gets up when you're doing the breathing.
Yeah. I want to thank you again, Guti, for being amazing and coming on today and joining us. Again, go to Mitolux.com, grab a Mitolux, use the Human Garage discount code. And thank you, everybody, for tuning out with us. And we'll see y'all soon. Coming up next week, we're going to be talking about another fun subject. And actually, it might be kind of fun. Uh, we're going to be talking about the subject of water. So I don't know if
Oh
you're around,
wow!
Gucci. Maybe you can come on as a extra guest, and we can have a conversation
Yes,
about
I
some
would love
water.
to. Actually, I'm developing a water fountain for pets. So I've been studying a lot about water because if you have the best water, you can improve your health. Basically, you're mostly made of water. So yes, I would love to be there.
Amazing. All right, we'll send you more info about that. And everybody, we do this every Wednesday around 5:30 p.m. Eastern. We tune in to people we love to collaborate with here at Human Garage, companies we collaborate with, and partnerships. And we have these conversations to learn more about the people behind them. Because, hey, if you're going to use a product, if you're going to use a device or anything, it's really cool to get a chance to talk to the person who created it, who built it, and get to know them, why they did this, and who, what, where, why. So Wednesday, 5:30 Eastern, if you want to tune in, or obviously watch this replay. Again, I'm Aaron, hostofblack.co, if you want to follow me personally, and Aaron Mathias at The Purpose. This is Guti. Follow him as well. If you want to have him on this podcast, as you saw, he's a wealth of information about light. Hit him up personally at his personal accounts. or at Mitolux and just send them a message and harass them and say, please come on my podcast. Please, please, please.
Yeah, I will be happy to be there on your podcast and see here getting some water. So thank you very much for your time and for your great vibes. And yeah, hope to see you soon.
All right, everyone. Till next time. See
Hasta
you later.
pronto.